This video brought to you in part by Tommy and the Order of Cosmic Champions. This exciting and heartwarming coming-of-age Gen X novel is available now. Check the link for more info. Man, time is flying, but it was only last week that I posted a video right here on GenXGrownUp where I was speculating on these two images from my arcade, both this artist rendering and this high-res photograph of some new product they have in the works. And they were teasing it, but they weren't saying exactly what it was. Well, we analyzed it, and we kind of deduced that it must be something collaborating with Atari. Well, man, did the story move fast after that. My arcade retweeted my video, and then the very next day, maybe the Tuesday or Wednesday, both my arcade and Atari came out verifying that in fact they were collaborating on a product, with more information coming in the near future, whenever that might be. So it's time for an update. Hey, welcome back to Gen X Grown Up. I am John, and I am a Gen X Grown Up, and I want to say maybe by the end of the week last week, both Atari and my arcade had posted more teaser images of stuff that got us all speculating even more. And so I want to take this time to dig into those images and address some of the theories that I've seen in the comments of the previous couple of videos, and tell you what I think might be going on between Atari and my arcade. So for starters, you remember this image. So this was the close-up photograph of what we deduced really is where we got most of our Atari theories from. That A has the Atari font. It is the letter A. It has a little grill that reminds me. And there's that rainbow that has led a lot of people down the path of Activision, a name that has not been invoked alongside Atari for some time, at least not in the marketplace. So we'll address that some. Now, there was not enough to see in this initial image to figure out if this was just a controller or part of a larger device, but if you move along to the second image, this shows you the top of what appears to be a joystick. And in the subsequent images, it becomes very, very clear, but we know we have that A button that's down in the base. We have a B button up on top of the stick, and then a C trigger button. Look really closely, there's a C on that red trigger button that's on top of this stick. So at least 3 control buttons that we know of. And you look at the bottom of the image, there are 2 more what appear to be status buttons along the side, little long red buttons that are probably like a reset or a pause or something like that, some kind of control function buttons. So now we have a joystick that has at minimum 5 buttons on it. It looks like an old CX40 Atari-style joystick. Many people have said it reminds them of the classic controller that came with the VCS from a couple of years ago. And I don't disagree there. It's quite possible the stick even rotates like a spinner. Maybe? I don't know. Although with a trigger, that would be odd to turn the stick. That would be the trigger would no longer be in the front. But hey, who knows? Who knows? Now, if you go into the next image, in case there was any doubt that this is a joystick, this is a joystick. Now, you don't get to see the top of the controller, just the bottom of the controller, but I can see there are no wires on it, which suggests to me that's a wireless controller of some kind. So I think the theory is that this product probably is a wireless controller, maybe or maybe not, has some intelligence in it. Maybe it's a plug and play. I doubt plug and play. I really do, because a fully wireless plug and play, unless it has a base unit it's talking to, which we've not seen any of so far. I want you to look very carefully at the bottom of the joystick. So you see the bottom? You can see it has 4 little feet on it and has a battery compartment. And then if we go to the next image, that's not the bottom of this joystick. That's something else entirely. So initially when I first looked at this, like, oh, there's nice grippy feet on the bottom of the joystick. It's not. This is not the bottom of that. This is not the bottom of a micro player from my arcade. This could be the base unit of a plug and play. Maybe? Maybe? Okay, so all of that, very fascinating, very interesting. Let me move along to the next image that grabbed my attention. And that's this one posted by my arcade when they said, we're enjoying all your speculation. And they show this monolithic kind of photograph of the my arcade unit. So that's not that joystick. That's not that base unit that had rubbery feet. What is this? This is another thing. So it could be that my arcade is just going, well, you know us from these micro players, so we'll use this as a teaser image to think about what could be coming with our collaboration with Atari. But I doubt that. Look, if you're my arcade and you're going to work with Atari, I'm going to try to lump into that contract, that agreement, to roll out new micro players that have Atari titles in them. Wouldn't you? I think anybody would that's trying to make a buck, especially with the huge groundswell of support that Atari has on the heels of the 50th anniversary. So we could be looking at more than one product here. We know a joystick, we know some kind of a base unit, or maybe that's the base unit associated with the joystick, and also a micro player. or more than one microplayer. I would hope. I really hope. That would be fantastic. And then just to add to it, here is another image that is not from the joystick, doesn't appear to be part of a microplayer. This could be the top of the rubberized foot image. This could be a base. And I say that for a couple of reasons. One is it has buttons unlike controller buttons. And if you look at the buttons, they're labeled power and like a reset. What needs power and reset? A console like the 2600, like the 5200, like the 7800, like the Jaguar, like the Lynx. Those things all need those sorts of commands. Now, I know that many people looked at this rainbow artwork that's around the buttons, and immediately in their head they went Atari, Activision, Rainbow. It's got to all come together, right? This has got to be Activision collaboration. And look, like you, yes, I would love to play some more Pitfall, Mega Mania, Crackpots, Hero, whatever great Activision titles there are out there. Sure, I would love to have a tabletop gadget console that has those embedded. I just don't see it happening, and for a few reasons. First of all, I don't know that MyArcade would have to get Atari involved to do Activision titles, because Atari doesn't own the license for Activision titles. They could do that without Atari. But they are partnering with Atari, and very publicly too. So that's one item. The second is, while we have had Activision collections in the past, there was a flashback that had them. We have had compilations that are on consoles. PlayStation has had, discs that have Activision anthologies, that sort of thing. I don't see them. I don't say they wouldn't work together. Clearly, there were Activision defectors who were involved in the Atari 50th anniversary. So we saw David Crane over and over in those videos. So we know there's not like so much bad blood they wouldn't work together. But there's no need. I don't think Atari would take a back seat or even a side seat to Activision on a big product announcements like this. So I think Activision would probably be, forefront in this if they were involved. That's my guess. And finally, that rainbow thing. Yes, it's beautiful. Yes, it reminds me of Activision, but look at the Activision logo. It has these solid stripes of color, not a gradient. And where have I seen that gradient? At Atari. What about the Atari 2600 Junior? What about the Atari 7800? We saw that artwork, that gradual color, that rainbow from blue to red over and over on Atari artwork. And that, by the way, it's not owned by Atari. Nobody has copyrighted this gradient rainbow. It could be anything. It could just be visual. But Atari has used it before. It's not solid blocks of color. If it were, I think we would see those blocks of color like classic Activision somewhere in the artwork by now. They would have teased us on that. So for all of those reasons, in my mind now, here's where I am at. And this is as of the very beginning of 2023. Until we get more information, which, by the way, has been coming pretty fast and furious, it appears to be more than one product. It's definitely paired with Atari. We've gotten confirmation of that. And I'm going to say at this point, it's probably a plug and play with a wireless controller. That's one product. And either a or a series of microplayers featuring Atari licensed, hopefully, arcade games. It's an arcade cabinet toy. I hope arcade games in them. And hey, is this correct? I don't know. Look, I'm just basing this on what I've seen in the past from these companies, where there's a void in the market that could be filled that makes financial sense, and kind of historically my gut feeling over, 40, 50 plus years of enjoying and loving Atari and these games. Let me know what you think. Look, the news is coming fast and furious. You don't have much time. Make sure you get your comments in now before they drop a bunch of new information on us, and we have to start decoding and deducing that as well. And I'll definitely be here for it. I'm going to be following this story as long as it runs up to and until the products, and then I want to take a look at the products and review them here for you on GenXGrownUp. Until then, I'll put a couple links in the corner here, and here you can check out about MyArcade and the original video I did where we first speculated. I hope you found something to enjoy, though, in this video, and I will talk to you next time. Bye-bye.